Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public service announcement that if you have the desire and the dream to do something, you should go out and do it, especially if it's a podcast. Because Avi, hey,
So
showed me this podcast, Bobbi Althoff. Am I saying her name right? She has a very successful podcast, and I don't even know why. It like it feels like she has no personality.
that's her whole thing.
Is that so? It's done on purpose, intentionally.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she makes it look effortless, like really like below effortless. And the only reason I feel like she blew up is because she interviewed Drake. I don't even know how she did that. But if you have the desire and the dream, go out there and do it. If Bobby can do it, anybody can do it.
Well, first of all, she was already somewhat popular because she had a decent following because she was like a mom influencer, and she came up with this thing where if you give, like she was saying, oh, if you get someone famous to help me, like connect me to someone who could famous to do the podcast, I'll give you $300. And somehow she got Drake. I don't know how the one thing led to another, right?
So hold on a second. So basically, she says, if you can get me on a podcast with Drake, I'll pay you $300.
No, she didn't say Drake specifically,
But
like
anybody famous.
anybody famous.
But how does the average person know anybody famous? Okay, even if I
Well-
knew somebody, all right, I do
Well,
know.
first of all, she's already an influencer, so she's not just anybody. I think she had a pretty big following already. So
Okay,
I think it was a little easier because of agents, and she probably had representation and all that kind of stuff. So I think that her podcast with Drake was actually good, and it felt like natural, and her style felt like natural, and was actually entertaining to watch because Drake also fed off of it in a good way. But then some of the other stuff she did, I feel like now she's trying too hard. Like with Shaq. I personally think that one she did with Shaq was just terrible. She's just trying too hard to be that
Right.
character.
Mhm.
And it's just like, it's
So
not
it's
even
kind of
funny.
like the two Ferns or whatever with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
It's
So,
kind of like that.
and then someone mentioned, like, I was reading the comments, someone's like, oh, she basically copied Funny Marco. And Funny Marco's like this comedian who I didn't know about until she did a podcast with him, funny enough. And he has the same style. Obviously, he's been around longer. And he's actually, like, to me, he's actually more funnier because he doesn't force it. And so that I feel like, in my opinion, I think her thing is gonna get boring after a while, and it's just gonna like die out. She was on a high. She did it with Drake, then Mark Cuban out of nowhere, and people are like, how are you getting all these like random people on your show? And she claims she's spending like tens of thousands of dollars flying out and going to people's their location. So I give her props, but at the same time, kind of sucks.
And like, what do they talk about though? It's like boring.
She asked them like random questions.
Random questions like, "Hey, do you have a pencil?" It's like that.
It's like,
All right, let's try to do a Bobbi Althoff style podcast. Let's try for a second. So I'll be Bobby.
She like interviews them.
I'll be Bobby, and you'll be the guest, whoever.
But have you seen some of her stuff?
I've seen a little bit, and I kind of understand. So we'll do it, and then you'll tell me if it's right or wrong. Okay? Let's do a little role play here. Hey, thanks for joining my show.
Yeah, good to be here.
Great. So, like, how'd you get here?
I flew in.
Like,
Because I had another show, so I stopped by, and it was easier. It was easier to meet you here.
so, like, you went to the show, and then, like, you just came here?
No, the show is coming up soon. This is
Oh.
like a pit stop.
Oh, well, thanks for coming. So, like, do you like it here?
It's okay so far.
Hey, can I borrow that sweater?
My Pulp Fiction sweater?
I like your Pulp Fiction sweater.
No, you can't borrow it.
Oh. It's like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what? Maybe it's not so bad.
wow. That's so funny.
And, you know, she's kind of cute, so I guess it makes it better.
So, wow, I can't believe we just did a Bobbi Althoff style podcast. Interesting. Huh. Well, listen, if people like it, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, people like NPCs also.
Oh, don't even get me started on NPCs.